stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Give me that. To the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers to Speakers. I'm your host, June Foster. We got another victory. This time it's in Lambeau. But let me do this before we get started. Please subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube and follow us on all podcast aggregators. Just make sure you hit that notification bell. You can follow us at Bleachers to Speakers FFSN. Make sure you have that notification bell on so when we drop content, you'll be able to get an alert, download the episodes. We got a final, 24-14. It was ugly out there as far as the weather, but pretty much in command after the first possession. We was up 7-3 and didn't look back. Boss, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I gotta talk about Branch, man, because that was I don't agree with that at all, man.
That was it's like they were point shaving a little bit.
I agree with the call. If you want to call personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defensive receiver, I get it. But I've seen more vicious hits where the player didn't get thrown out. It was just 15 yards. Way worse. There was a player earlier in the year that Chris Olave got hit so hard, and the person that hit him got a 15-yard person, but they had to take him damn near out on a gurney.
You talking about today, or was it earlier in the year?
It was because
he got hurt today too.
Yeah, I think there was somebody mentioned it, so I remember seeing the highlight, but I wasn't sure if that was from today or not. So yeah, it's just egregious, man. That just to throw a player out for that, because you see that, you know what I'm saying, on a regular. That was nothing outside of a football play. He could have held up, but it's just a 15-yard personal foul. And there's no ejection. I was totally shocked at the ejection.
Yeah, it was like college. In college, targeting is automatically is automatically an ejection. But in the NFL, for plays like that, you don't normally see.
You rarely see it. You don't see them getting kicked out for a play like that. You know what I'm saying? And although I'll admit it probably was a penalty, but it wasn't the kind of penalty that should get you thrown out of a game. It was a helmet-to-helmet hit, but at the same time, it was not ejection worthy, if you ask me.
I don't think so. It was early in the game. The game was still close. There was a lot on the line, which is why you saw him so visibly upset and like distraught. It was because it was, when you look at the amount of injuries we've had already, like, we really could ill afford him to be out of the game. So.
Yeah, and they gave him 15 more yards.
That was the additional one. I think was based upon how he reacted.
It was him on the way out the door, and they was like, "Okay, you tripping?
I'm flipping everything over before I leave."
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, but there's a big discrepancy on the yardage, and I'm going to say it didn't reflect the score. If you look at it statistically, the Packers actually, Jordan Love threw for 273 yards, but he threw the ball 39 times.
Yeah. Your box score merchants are going to say, yeah, the secondary was whatever is what you would say if you just watch the box score. But most of those yards they got were, one was on that Hail Mary at the end of the half, but the long
that meant nothing.
That meant nothing. And
I'll let you catch it without no timeouts.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And then a lot of it was when they were down 24-6 and were just, in
They were
desperation
chunking.
mode pretty much.
And it was more like a prevent defense. It was just like, okay, we'll let you catch it. We'll play zone. There was, when you go up 24-6, you just sit back and let them, you let them pass. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of it all, you had a very, very comfortable lead. I know they scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion at the end, but there was no threat. There was no threat. By the time they scored, it was 3 minutes left in the game. I mean, if I'm up 24-14 with 3 minutes left in the game, I'm not worried or concerned at all. You see what happened. They tried to kick an onside kick, didn't happen, and then we get first downs until it's time to kneel. So it was no threat, and I wanna say I'm very proud of this team. Was it 7-1?
We're 7-1. Yeah.
7-1, undefeated in the NFC North with 2 victories on the road versus the top 2 teams, well, outside of us, the top 2 teams in the division, we go and get on the road victories. And you couldn't script, uh, the 7-1 start any better outside of the blemish versus Tampa Bay at home, and that was a close game. So, a couple plays, and you're looking at an 8-0, a couple plays differently in that game, and you're looking at an 8-0 Lions team.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I think they mentioned earlier is the best start before the game at 6-1. It was the best start since 1940 or something. It said
That's crazy.
it was.
We were that good in the 40s. That's crazy too.
I can't remember what it said. I might be even going way back. I might be going back too far.
I saw a stat that it was 1966, but that was even that might have been.
I might have went back too far,
Yeah,
but
that's
it,
pretty
it
far.
was it was long though. It was like when
Pause.
you look at it, the the time was long there, Foster. It's been a long time since the the Lions have had a 6-1 record. Now we're 7-1. Like I said, and we're talking about a depleted defense. Depleted.
Well, I hate using the word depleted because that just makes you sound like just tore down and broken. This defense has operated pretty strong.
I look at it as terms of 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 numbers as far as personnel numbers, not depleted in a sense of non-productive. I'm talking about it as far as your roster, because if you look at it, you got Barnes, Davenport, Hutchinson, and
Iffy, um,
Iffy,
Kaminsky,
Kaminsky. If you wanna look at it that way, there's so many people that are on IR and so many people you're pulling up from the practice squad. And then on top of that, you take away our second best safety, arguably the best safety.
I was arguably the best safety.
There's some people that would say Branch is better than Kirby, even though Kirby got a pick six today, and he seems to get those interceptions like in timely matters, boy. I tell you,
That was huge. That was huge. Yeah.
it changed the whole game around. I mean, if he doesn't get that, it's 10-3 at half, and it's a whole different ball game. Now 17-3 with a pick six. You know what I'm saying? So, bad decision by the professional quarterback. You know,
Right.
bad
It was
decision.
very unprofessional of him.
Yeah, bad decision. And there you go. You got 17 lines up 17-3 at half. And it's just it was they kind of cruised in the second half. The Lions, I think the first possession, I think they might have went 3 and out. And they wound up scoring the second possession and they was up 20, I think it was 24-3. And they kind of just cruise control the rest of the way. And that's the way you got to do it. Don't turn the ball over, and they had fun. we know what I was worried about, Foster. They kept having problems with the snap, and I said at some point we're gonna have them same problem because that rain was pouring.
Yeah, they had a ton of. Was that their? I don't know if because they
I
might
don't
have
think
talked.
that was their starter. I don't think
It
that was
could.
their
It
starter.
couldn't have been.
Mm-mm. Mr. My City says big dubs all day. All we do is win today. That is correct. That is correct, man. This is a big game. This is a big game to win, to go on the road early in the season. And like I said, it's a division game. So if your mission is to split you know what I'm saying, you've done that with these two teams. Now, if you sneak a win, not sneak a win, but if you win at home, you know what I'm saying, that even helps better your chances. Mr. My City said the Wings won, the Lions won, the Pistons won. It's a good weekend in Michigan. I tell you that. I tell you, well, for professional sports, but yeah,
Yeah. We're not gonna speak on the others.
woo, yeah, those ducks was quacking. Anyway, yeah, it's a good victory. I wouldn't imagine the Lions would be 7-1 in winning the first two games of the division. And then what's even better is, and I'm sorry, Pay, but the Bears lost
Yeah, I hear that wasn't even close.
29-9.
Not very good.
No,
Very good.
20 and there's no glaring statistics on that game to show you. I guess you had to see it because Caleb had 200 yards passing. Doomsday had 100 yards receiving.
How many picks though?
I didn't see that part. I
Nah,
didn't see that part.
it's off. It's shown somewhere.
And let me check it out because and it's not just a dig at the Bears. This is your teams in your division are fighting to catch up and be with you. No interceptions.
Okay,
No,
maybe
no
maybe
touchdowns, no interceptions.
maybe some fumbles to the offensive lineman on the goal line did it.
Well, let me see. Swift fumbled, but he didn't lose the fumble. There was no
Okay,
lost fumbles.
no lost fumbles.
Like I said, there's nothing that shows why they. And let me look at the Cardinals. Kyler Murray is 13 of 20 for 154 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. James Conner had 107 yards on 18 carries, no.
I think their
No
backup had
touchdowns.
a long run though.
Yeah, he had a long run of 53 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so yeah, man.
Hey, Mr. My City says F the Bears for life. Glaring statistic was the final score. One.
Yeah, man. I mean, the reason why we talk about the Bears, we do an NFC North show every Wednesday, and of course, Foster, this is more in tune since we started doing these shows. Since we started blogging, this is more in tune I have been with the other teams within the division. Like I really, really pay close attention as far as personnel and what they're doing against other teams and watching them play. I'll watch them play at the drop of a dime just to see how good they're doing. Matter of fact, the Vikings play the Colts at 8:20. They're the game of the night, and I think they might be. I mean, they were better off facing Anthony Richardson, but now Flacco's going to start for the Colts.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's going to be tougher for them. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. I think that's going to be a good game. But nevertheless, let's not talk about them too much. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll talk some more Lions. We're not going to talk about these other teams like that. Lions win 24-14 in Lambeau. 7-1 record. Foster, what impressed you more about this win?
What was impressive? The running game was strong. Obviously, in a sloppy game like this, where the quarterback is at a disadvantage because you got disadvantaged in the sense that it's kind of hard to push that ball down the field with deep passes because Jared Goff only had 4 incompletions on the day, but that's pretty par for the course for Goff in
Mhm.
general. But the running attack was really strong. Montgomery had 73 yards rushing, and Gibbs had 65. They both averaged around 5 yards a carry. And I mean, Montgomery got the quite a few of his down the stretch because the
Mhm.
one thing that's going to make us tough later on in the year, especially when we have the inclement weather, is the fact that a team has not stopped our running attack yet. And when you got a guy that's running angry like that, it's just hard to slow him down, especially when he can kind of put as much effort into it as he needs. Because you go to the next back, Jameer Gibbs, and it gets as far as big plays, it gets even scarier. He had a pretty long run. What was his? I think he had like a 40+ yard touchdown run, and that just wears on the defense when they have to go from you know gang tackling and taking several people to take one guy down to the next guy who can run right past you and run over you too. So,
I
yeah, mostly it was mostly the running game. I think Brandon Joseph did a great job uh, filling in for Brian Branch. He had I think he led the team in tackles of them. Yeah, he led the team with solo tackles with 6, but Jack Campbell had
Mhm.
10. Uh, uh, when you take into account assists, tackling assists. So, um, yeah, solid effort from them, and Kirby Joseph once again comes up with a major, like we said earlier, comes up with a very pivotal momentum swinging interception on a play where I saw James Houston drop back into coverage, which was interesting because that was one thing they're not a big fan of him doing. Um, and then Kirby Joseph blitz got stuck in the kind of stuck in the pile, and when they got ready to throw a screen at Josh Jacobs, he kind of popped out of nowhere and got a pick six. That's his first pick six of his career, I believe.
Mm. Yeah, that was crazy. And
James
there's
Houston wasn't bad either, though. I saw him get some pressures. Saw him,
yeah,
you know, get a couple hits on the quarterback, but we didn't get home all game though.
right, right. No sacks for the
No
day.
sacks, anyways. Yeah.
And there's 2 plays I wanna point out, Foster, that those don't happen, this game is changed. Now I know if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Right.
However, there's 2 fourth down, plays that wound up being touchdowns. First play being a pass to St. Brown.
Was that on fourth down?
That was on 4th down.
Yeah, that was a tough pass to make a fourth down.
Back shoulder, hoping he gets the feet down, hoping he catches the ball. That was just perfect throw, perfect placement of the feet. Uh, um, St. Brown made a hell of a catch, and then the run by Gibbs was on fourth down for a touchdown in the red zone, and it was like, wow. Those are 2 plays. If that doesn't happen, now there's no doubt. I think it was 4th and 1 for Gibbs. I think it was 4th and 1, but it was 4th and goal for St. Brown. But if he doesn't get the first down, I mean, he probably would have gotten the first down regardless because there was a chance for a guy to make a tackle on, but he kind of juked him, and once he got into the open, he'd still be running if he wasn't that close to the goal line. Like there was only
Right.
1 minute to beat, and he had already ran past him. He would still be running to this. So great play calling. There was they tried to get cute one possession with the reverse
Yeah,
just
the reverse.
to
Yeah. I think
rain.
that was them. I think that was their attempt to how Xavier McKinney took exception to them trying to embarrass teams. I think they were like,
Mhm.
okay, well, does this embarrass you? But I mean, it ended up being a 11 yard, you know,
Start off 2nd and 21, and and that's the time where you needed to, you need to just you need every positive play because you're trying to run out the clock. And
right.
that was just like, okay, you don't get cute. Just run the ball. Just run the ball. I was very impressed with the first drive. Just running the ball. Just running the ball. Um, the running backs aren't going to have 100 yards a piece each game. And, but if you look at the yardage, it doesn't say a lot. But if you're watching the game, you can see that they're meaningful yards. They're meaningful first downs that they are getting. Montgomery just runs like you described earlier, angry. And Gibbs, like I said, he has that gear, and then he runs in between the tackles very well himself. So great victory, man. Oh man, I'm gonna celebrate. I know 7-1, man. I'm definitely gonna change the title of this
Yeah,
title of this.
definitely can put some spice on this one.
Put some spice on this one, man. Put some spice on this. I mean, who's the next game?
Who was it? The Colts?
Now let's see here. The Lions face
The Texans.
Mm. When
In
you
Houston. In Houston.
Okay.
That's interesting. It just goes to show it's a long year. It's like we said earlier, you had to play the Vikings when they were undefeated. You played the Packers at home, or at their house in a kind of a rough, physical, rainy game. Titans was kind of a game we kind of skated, but Cowboys. I mean, there's just no let up in the schedule. It's nonstop, nonstop grind all year.
Dak said, "We freaking suck."
Did he say that?
I got him on camera. They got him on camera saying it. We freaking suck.
Oh, he said it. Oh, it wasn't on mic. They caught him in the midst.
You can clearly, if you read, you can read his lips. He said, "We effing suck."
That's hilarious.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. What a year. What a difference a year makes, Like
They're pretty good last year.
They're pretty good. And, they won versus us last year, but we got that back.
Got that lick back.
We got that lick back. We got our lick back. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to look too far ahead, Foster.
Yeah.
7-1, and you had to face the Texans. I think they play in a dome as well, so I don't think weather would be.
I think it's retractable.
But it's Houston, so it shouldn't be. If the weather's bad, they'll cover it up. But if you win this game and go 8-1, your next two games are the Jaguars and the Colts. You're looking at possibly 10-1. I don't want to go too far ahead, but it is what it is, man.
It'll be nice cushion to have because we do know that we have the Bears twice coming up, or two more games.
After those two games, we have the Bears, and I think it's at home. We've faced the Bears here, and I think that's on.
That's Thanksgiving.
That's on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
and then we go back to Green Bay, Buffalo, at the Bears.
We play Green Bay. We don't go back to them. Thank God.
Oh, I'm sorry. We play Green Bay. We play the Bills. We go to Chicago. We go to San Francisco. And then we have in week 18 versus the Vikings. And at this pace, man, I like the direction. I like what's going on. I'm ecstatic about the rest of the season. I think it's gonna be one of them ones. Rest of the season. Gonna be one of them ones. Game ball. Who you give a game ball to?
Gibbs, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah. No, or maybe Curb.
You can give it to Curb. You can give it to Golf.
Curb held it down, and he held it down in the defensive backfield without his running mate, and he had a pick six that really swung the momentum. I mean, because initially what swung the momentum was the penalty, was the 30 yards of penalty, 30 yards of yards that we lost, but um they still ended up missing the field goal on that drive. So
Yeah.
that kind of was a conclusion, or that was pretty much a summary of how the game went for them, because they had a ton of penalties, they had a ton of drops, they weren't converting in the red zone. Um, but yeah, I think I'm not mad at Curry, because Goff was accurate. He took care of the ball.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, if the whole offensive line could get a game ball, I would do that too.
You can. You definitely can. 1 sack. They gave up 1 sack. That was it.
Because there wasn't one star per se, but they definitely opened up some nice holes for Gibbs, especially on the
Oh, yeah.
conversion play, and then on the long run, the touchdown that he had. He had a nice size gap to run through. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm definitely gonna do a game buff show tomorrow. I mean, a little game buff segment. I haven't been doing those, but I'm definitely gonna. I got a pair of game buffs. I'm gonna hand out. I just need to make sure I process and make sure I probably watch the game again because I record every game, and I'll probably process and I'll have a game buffs winner because I'm only gonna give game buffs off to one person. So I'll probably drop that tomorrow evening sometime, right before the football game, for the Monday night game. And I'll drop that. I'll give out my game buffs. I'm gonna do that every week. So, but yeah, this one was a wrap, man. And all the way around the board. No matter how you look at it, the defense uh stood strong when they needed to. The offense scored when they needed to. We didn't turn the ball over. Um, for a while, there was no penalties. There was 2 penalties in the first half, and both of them was against Branch in the same sequence.
no, yeah, it was crazy because at that point I was like, oh wow, I think Green Bay had like 5 penalties and we had 0, and then
Yeah.
right after that, Branch gives up 2 at the same time.
I was getting irritated because I'm watching the offensive line for Green Bay, and that right tackle was getting early jump a lot.
Bro, I was screaming at the TV every time I saw it. He got to jump. And they called it one
One.
time, but
They called
he
it
did
one.
that the entire game.
Yeah, he was getting an early jump just about every snap, and it was like, "Come on, man. Come on, son. You're sitting there, you're throwing our players out for regular plays, and there's a line judge that watches every snap, and you don't see this?
I mean, they obviously decided that it was legal, but it was on the offensive lineman side that James Houston was on. So he looked good today. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
he looked he, looked- he looked good.
He just it just didn't show up in the stat sheet. And while the game was going, I hate to bring this up, but while the game was going,
What?
I got a couple texts saying, from some inside sources that there's Brad's on the phone. We can expect something soon.
I think he's taking some. I got a text saying that he is taking a visit on Monday.
Which one?
Oh, oh, you talking about somebody other than
I heard there's a couple of other people he's been trying to.
Oh, come on, man. Relax, relax.
You know what, Foster? I think what's going on is this guy is not putting all his eggs in one basket. He's trying to get, if this doesn't work, let's see if this works. Because I heard about 3 people.
Oh,
3.
wow. Hey, I'll take one, but
Well, I don't think he's going to
I'll take
make.
the name that you
Yeah,
showed
I
me.
don't think he's going to get to. But I'm
Right,
just saying he's
right. You know,
for the fans that's sitting up there saying, "Oh, he needs to do something." Brad is working. Let Brad cook.
let him cook, man. Got the
Let him
apron
cook.
on.
Yeah, let him cook, man. I think what he's going to do. I don't think we're going to be disappointed. Um, there's no reason to sell the farm to get one of those big time names that people wanted us to do. Um, there's no reason to sell the farm. Like there's just it's just people get hasty, let's take another quick
Well,
break.
they don't pay him big bucks.
We'll talk about that. It is November 3rd, and it's almost 8 o'clock. And besides the football game, we as fans are waiting to see if there's going to be an acquisition or a defensive end before the deadline. The deadline is November 5th, which is election day. And I didn't think that the Lions would make a move, but I think they will. I've gotten like some texts from a few friends and that shown me some stuff that they've seen. And I think Adam Schefter tweeted yesterday that the Lions had made several calls. So it's not like Brad's not working. So if there's a deal to be made, if it's meant to be, it's going to be made. I don't think it's all on Brad, but I think if there's a deal to be made, Brad is going to make the deal. So we'll see. We'll see. It's a lot to go on. It's a lot to process, but I do think as fans we need to be more patient. And I have a lot of nerve saying that because I personally question everything that Brad Holmes has done from draft picks to trades. Do you remember when they traded Hawk?
From your perspective, not particularly, but
Okay. There was they traded Hawk to Minnesota at some point in the season, and we weren't bound to make the playoffs or anything like that. I think that was the season where we went 8-2, the latter part of the season. But
not yeah.
But my thing was, and this is my thing. They traded Hawk, and I was like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? He's an old world tight end. Why do you trade Hawk? Right? There was a buddy of mine that tagged me in a post from 2 years ago when it happened. And because he made a post saying, "Oh, now y'all love Hawk." And I'm like, man, that was the dumbest move ever. Why would you trade your best tight end to a division rival?
Yeah,
And
that
I
part.
think that bothered me the most. Like you trade him to Minnesota. If you trade him to Denver, cool. You trade him to Minnesota. So we have to see this monster. He's going to be motivated. He's playing for Kirk Cousins. He's going to get the ball. It's going to be hell to deal with, right? So he tagged me in that today, but I questioned that from Brad. Like, why would you trade this guy?
Brad hadn't done too much yet, besides trade Stafford. So it was
The draft. He's done so much from that point into the draft. I questioned the draft picks. I didn't question the Terrion Arnold pick. I was very happy at Terrion Arnold at that point in the first round. I did question Enos Rickshaw. I did question that, like, okay, we need a rush in. Why are you doing that? We need a playmaker. Why are you doing that? I remember Jameson. The first thing I said, oh, you make a deal to get somebody that's injured. Oh, that's great. I said that.
yeah.
Laporta, why are you drafting the tight end? And you traded away Hawk. Why are you drafting the tight end? Could have kept Hawk and picked somebody else. You see how that worked out. So I have to gauge myself and not say anything too much. Just, So I get the fans questioning what's going on, but as I tell myself, I'm going to tell y'all, let Brad cook. We should be hearing something tomorrow or Tuesday. And if we don't, it is what it is. If we don't, it is what it is. 7-1, I can't really fuss.
No. Because we've won 2 full games without Hutch so far?
Convincing. They haven't been close games.
Minnesota and Green Bay. Those are two decent teams to have won, right? Beat.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the best division the division has to offer. I mean, uh, if you look at it, we lost to Tampa Bay with not trying to diminish what Hutch done,
Of course, of
but
course.
I'm just saying, like, you know, it just depends on how good the unit plays. It's just more than one person, and I think this team is built upon people stepping in and playing and believing in each other and playing with grit and playing with tenacity and not the effort is always going to be there. Effort is always going to be there. Now we didn't get home on a lot. We didn't get any sacks, but there was some pressure. Uh, there was actually a hold on Aleem McNeil. What I thought he would have got home.
I was going to say McNeil definitely caught him one good time.
Yeah. So, and then if you look at it, I was worried about Josh Jacobs because in that first quarter he was getting busy.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't even talk about that.
He
He got
still wa- he
he got
still had he got
dangerously
injured.
close to 100. Huh?
He got injured. You say
No, I said he got dangerously close to that 100-yard mark that we've been
he
avoiding.
had him most of that in the first half.
Yeah,
He had 75 yards in the first quarter,
that's crazy.
and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be one of them.
It's one of those.
Oh, this is gonna be. He's about to go crazy.
Yeah, he runs angry too.
He runs angry too, and it was like that was it. I mean, he didn't have that much more better of a game than Montgomery had. And he went crazy in the first quarter. And I'm like, golly, we can't stop him. But that came to an end.
It's kind of how Aaron Jones did early in the Vikings game.
Was getting down.
Yeah,
Was getting down. And then all of a sudden that train stops.
they got
That train
behind.
stops.
Had to put that ball. Had to put the pill in the air.
Well, the recipe is the Lions get a lead. What it's been. Lions get a lead. And now you're forced to play one way. That defense can pin their ears back and just and play the pass, force you to do one thing, and that's what I'm saying. It didn't seem like that from a score standpoint this game, but they were down, so they were down 24-6. They had to pass.
Yeah,
They had to pass. So, well, I'm not going to hold you. I know there's another game starting in 15 minutes. Do you have anything you want to put a bow on this one, Foster?
No, I pretty much said what I needed to say. Basically, I mean, when it's all said and done, we won a turnover battle, which was key. We knew that Love was capable of making some errant passes, and he threw that pick six was very detrimental to them. And we were just the better coached and prepared team when it's all said and done. We didn't make penalties like encroachment penalties on fourth and goal to to further drives. We didn't. We did a relatively good job penalty wise outside of the unnecessary roughness, unsportsmanlike
Meek
conduct.
Robinson. Meek Robinson.
Yeah, I don't. Did you see what happened or no?
Trash talking.
Okay, yeah, they were talking. They were definitely talking a lot of trash out there. I saw Joseph. I saw Brown. Kind of because the rivalry is definitely there. But yeah, so certain stuff that it's like okay, we don't need that. Um, but yeah, we played pretty mistake free ball together and kept that pill on the off the ground and in our teammates' hands. So that was the factor when it was all said and done.
Yeah, I want you to think about something before we close.
What's up?
Think we'll be able to do a Pistons show tomorrow night after the Lakers game?
I think we have our conference. Our
Oh, we do. We have a show anyway.
right.
Okay, we'll
It's
figure
going
that
to
out.
be during the game, probably. partially during the game.
I don't need to see nothing but the second half versus them. So
Yeah, because you don't want to see the first.
No. Look here. Subscribe to Bleachers Speakers on YouTube and follow us on all podcast aggregators. Make sure you follow us at Bleachers Speakers FFSN on those podcast aggregators. Make sure you hit the notification bell so when we drop, you'll be able to get an alert. So and download the episodes. So let's get out of here, Foster, man. Great victory. Lions win 24-14 in Lambeau, 7-1.
Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better